5, 6, 7, 8.
Luck be a lady tonight.
There it is.
Luck be a lady tonight. Luck if you've ever had a lady to begin with. Luck be a lady tonight.
We are at the theater and it is session 2. We are almost at the end of our first week. I can't believe we're already here. It's been a whirlwind. We had our arrival day for our second session students this past Monday, which was a little crazy. We had some inclement weather. We had tons of flight delays, lots of trips to the airport.
Oh my God, it was raining so hard we couldn't even see out the windshield on our drive there. But then luckily, as soon as we arrived at housing, it stopped to like a slight little sprinkle, and we shoved all my stuff inside and ran up into the building right before it started again.
Thankfully, we got everyone here safe and sound. We had our first circle time, we had our first meal together, which is always a really exciting point of the session. And then we jumped right into things here at the theater. We are starting to build this incredibly lavish set with so many moving pieces. We are in the rehearsal room. We're learning all the music of the show. It's really exciting, and it's a little bit different this session because Ben is directing the show, which means things change a little bit. My schedule changes a little bit because of it, but I think it's a really unique opportunity for the students to get to work with him. How are you adjusting to your new Guys and Dolls schedule, where your dad is in the rehearsal room all the time? Okay. Silent treatment.
We're so excited to be doing Guys and Dolls as our second show of this season here at SSTI, and it's a show that I've loved for a really long time. I have not directed a show at SSTI since 2015, so for me, my structural points that I had to put in place for me to feel comfortable were directing a show were that I had to have a lot of my staff returning. Anytime you're doing a seasonal operation like this, you're not always guaranteed that you're gonna have the same people coming back year in and year out. But this year from the outset, I could tell that I had a lot of my administration, my people who really knew the ins and outs of how SSTI worked, returning, so that I knew that I could be in a rehearsal room 8 hours a day and the world wouldn't catch on fire over at my desk or on the other end of the world. So that was what led me to jumping on board with this particular show. It's a show that means a lot to me.
It's exciting to be in Ben's return to directing. I think he has a lot of great ideas, and his direction is just so detailed on stage, and he knows exactly what picture he's trying to make. And it just makes it easier for the actors because he gives us detailed things to do.
One of those people who I know that I can entrust to run the room when I'm around, when I'm not around, is Peter Williams. He's our choreographer. He's been with SSTI since 2016, I believe it was. Anything Goes, and working with us as a performer, as a associate director choreographer, and now he's here as a choreographer with a show that he knows, he loves, and I knew if I was gonna jump into this production as director, not choreographer. Nobody ever needs to see me dance. I needed this guy by my side.
Guys and Dolls has a really special place in my heart. It was also my first professional show as a performer back when I was, starting off, and to now kind of step into this role on this show that holds that place for me is just so special. And then to be doing it in a place that is equally as special for me. I mean, I've hit every rung on the ladder here, so I'm excited to be doing it, and it's great. It's great energy in the room.
Peter is great. I mean, he has this sort of air to him that you know exactly what you want to do. He gets it done. He knows exactly how to do it, and it's just so efficient and incredible.
Well, we dove right in on day one and learned all of the ensemble music in a full day, which is our full day for that was about 4 hours long, so it actually wasn't the full day, so we went really fast. and the students did really well, learned it quickly and pretty accurately. And now we've started digging into the solo work and the duet work and things like that.
At any vegetable market from Borneo to Nome, you mustn't squeeze a lemon till you get the melon home. You simply gotta gamble and get no guarantee. Now doesn't that kind of fly to you and I? You and me.
Thank you so much. So as the process moves forward, what I like to focus in on, which is something that I tell the students on the first day, is precision and accuracy. So for me, those are the things that separate amateur from professional, is how accurate and precise they are in their execution of the material. So we start getting into details about cutoffs, about making sure that the music sounds clean, about making sure that the message is coming through exactly, that they're really thinking about what they're saying and how the music fits into that. The release of the note is the release of the arrow. So if I go, doing it for some doll, and I release the tension, where's the arrow heading to? Right? Like, oh, it didn't hit the target. Why not? Oh, I didn't use it, right? For some doll! And I release it. Right? Goes to the top.
Yeah, so Ben and I sat in a restaurant and house kitchen in New York City in the end of January when it was miserable outside and started dreaming up what our version of Guys and Dolls would be. So we literally sat in probably one of the locations that the gamblers or some of the characters of Guys and Dolls would have frequented in New York City back in the 50s. And you know, Guys and Dolls, it's one of the most popular produced musicals in America. It's also, some will say, the best musical that's ever been written, but it's one that I've never had the opportunity to design, so I'm grateful for the chance to kind of get my hands on it. And in talking about our hopes for the show and kind of our vision for it, we talked about some of the original productions of it, the 6 different times it went to Broadway. And we talked about some of the other shows that we wanted it to feel like. Some of those were West Side Story, more modern, Into the Heights, or A Little Shop of Horrors. And so by talking about things we liked of all of these different shows, we found that we liked a little bit more realistic approach than maybe like a cartoon or like caricature version that's sometimes produced on stage. We liked the grime. We liked that these were people that were actually living in New York City, and that these stories felt real to us.
So this week we've been working on the mission wagon, which is going to be 2 big pieces. There's 2 big platforms, and then on those we put up some walls. We put some really thin plywood basically on the front to face them, and then some molding along the top out of foam.
This is the summer of brick for me, so I've been doing all kinds of brick. We're doing a muslin drop that's like 20 by 50 feet, and the entire thing is covered with painted and textured brick. So we have like carpet padding pieces that have been cut and painted that we spent all morning gluing down, as well as a bunch of other interesting ways to add texture to that drop. It's huge, it's gonna be gorgeous, and we've been putting a lot of work into that this week. Our technical students this session are amazing. They're super focused and excited to work. We have several students that are going straight into college after this, and so they're coming in assistant design positions, several of which it's their 3rd year here, it's really exciting to see students who came in one point with a limited amount of knowledge and have now grown over the years and are walking into leadership positions. It's exciting to see how they work with other students, how they're kind of guiding people into that type of teamwork, as well as all the creative solutions they're coming up with individually.
Yeah, this is my first time here, and I think it's so amazing to be able to not only specialize in an area which you are somewhat interested in or want to explore more, but you also get to do everything else. So you get a chance to, like, maybe your school or wherever you do theater does not have such like a robust, I don't know, lights programmers or lights ability. You can learn how to do lights really well here. You can learn how to do everything and like anything you would want.
And I also really loved working with the audio mixer, Camille, and also just getting to do different things that I don't normally do. I got to build a wig. Haven't done that before, but now I know how to build a wig. or like program a lights board. That was really fun.
The tech people this year are, it's so much more like collaborative, and like it feels like we're an actual group, and that we're like learning things together, and we're all kind of working on the show together instead of all of us being in our different departments. And
one of the things that I've been doing is I've been hiding a bunch of tiny ducks around the shop for them to find, which they have been very excited about. Session 1 was really excited about it. They would find them and rehide them. I put several of them on Ben's desk, which I think is hilarious.
I find them in my boots, in my locker. I'll find them in my tool bag. Like, it's nice.
These ducks, they're a menace to society. They are everywhere. And someone is hiding them everywhere, and it makes me so happy. Because they're little ducks.
11 days till